What is up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. This time, I'm going to start the very first episode of my C++ series. Yeah, basically that's just it. But before we actually get into the code, right, I think it'd be worthwhile going through some of just the basics of a computer, a simple computer, and programming languages and why we use them, right? I have a nice little README that I've written up over here. I also will be sharing the link to this repo, which will have all the code and all the READMEs for all the videos. As I make more videos, I'll be adding to the READMEs and I'll be adding to the code, and you'll be able to see all that. You'll be able to look at all the code. But yeah, essentially, like the parts. Let's just talk about a computer. We could talk about a few parts of the computer that you use every day. You might be watching this video on a computer, right? You have your motherboard, right? This is more of like the heart of a computer. This is what essentially everything is connecting and speaking to each other through the motherboard, right? This is just like a nice little circuit board that you can plug in like your RAM. You can plug in that also has like the CPU. Speaking of the CPU, that is the central processing unit. This is more of the brain of your computer. This handles all of these like complex calculations as well as like executing all these processes that we're trying to do. And then we also have memory, right? I just briefly mentioned RAM, but essentially memory is what we're using to allocate all of the space that we're trying to use on this computer. Like let's say I have a computer and I have like data, I have applications running. How is all of this happening? We need to have the space, we need to have the memory in order to handle all of this stuff, right? A couple examples, we have RAM, which is random access memory, right? This happens to do with all the applications that you are running on your machine right now, right? If you have like, let's say you have your Internet Explorer open. God, Internet Explorer. I don't know why I said that. Why was that the first thing that came to mind? RIP to Internet Explorer, RIP all the way. But yeah, you have like your browser is open, and then you also have like maybe your Spotify is open, you have your Apple Music, whatever have you. If you have like video editing software, be that like Adobe Premiere Pro, if that's running, then yeah, all of these applications that you're accessing in that moment is being stored in your RAM. And if you're ever curious as to what applications you have running on your computer at that time, you can always check that activity monitor. The activity monitor will tell you all of the applications that you have running and that are open in that computer at that time. Another thing we have is the ROM, which is the read-only memory. This has the BOIS, the BOIS, which is the basic output input system. This has all of the low-level code and firmware that runs and executes when you turn on your computer, right? When you first turn on that computer, a lot of things have to happen. A lot of systems have to start up. Essentially, it's coming back to life again. So since you're bringing that computer back to life, you need a process, you need code to actually tell that computer what to do, how to turn on, what to run. Yeah, because essentially these computers are tools that we can use, but the computer is not smart. It has all of the calculations that we tell it to do, and then it can perform them. So this is the thing, like one of my professors always says, the computer is not smarter than us. However, it is faster than us. So it can do a whole bunch of complex calculations in a snap of a snip of a doodad, super fast. But it needs us to tell it what calculations to perform. I'll have more notes in the actual README that I've written up, but essentially that's like, these are some of the core parts of a computer. Of course, you have the case, you have like an input and output, like you have your monitor, which is like some type of output. Speakers are also output. You have your keyboard and your mouse, which is input. You can input something and now the computer can understand and interpret what that thing you're saying is. Now let's talk about programming languages. Machines, computers, right? The programming languages that you know today, including like C, C++, Python, all of these, essentially all these languages, at the end of the day get compiled down to a machine code so that a machine can understand it. Why? Because machines can't understand the language that we use to communicate with every day. What they do understand is machine code, right? So we have these iconic staples in history, these geniuses that come and they create a programming language that is easy for us to read and write in and for us to understand, and then it can get compiled into machine code, right? So that's where all of this stems from. Super, super cool. I have an example of Hello World in machine code in that README, which is linked in the description below. But yeah, that repo is going to have all the stuff for this entire series. Cool, cool. Now that we've done that, let's actually get into making our very first C++ program. I'm excited for this. I hope you're excited. All right, so here we have our main.cpp file, and we can just include the input-output stream, IO stream. If like, you know, listen, I'm not trying to get clocked. If it's not input-output, then I've been wrong the entire time. It's something we just hate to see. Okay, so this is a function, main. It is expecting to return a type of int, but we don't have to get into any of that. All this extra frou-frou, you can just like keep on typing with me. What we're going to use is the cout, and this is how we're able to print items to our terminal. If you do not have a lot of, okay, no, I'll say that at the end. So here, remember, always end a line with a semicolon. And let's just put a new line here so it prints nicely. And here, let us compile our main.cpp. And now we have a nice little a.out file. And now this is how we can run the application, is a.out. And we get hello world. Yeah, that's it. It's not that crazy. It's just a nice simple hello world program. Oh no, I messed up. Boom. Forgot the exclamation mark. So let's just recompile it. See, look, we're learning. Here we go, hello world. And there you have it. Our very first hello world program in C++. Right, this series is going to, I'm just going to put an episode out for the series every day. This is Wednesday. I'm going to put an episode out every day until next Wednesday. And then we can start getting on into more content. If you want more C++ stuff, I can get into that. If you want more stuff in other varieties, realms, like I normally do, I can get into that. Yeah, and if you're shaky about using the terminal period, that first, I'm also just going to put a link for that intro, the terminal basics video that I did way back when. I think that was like one of my first videos. But yeah, terminal basics, it'll help you feel more comfortable in navigating around there. And yeah, that's about it for this video. Stop recording, and I will see you next time.
Every night, another rain. We both